In this tutorial, we'll look at how we can use marking menus to speed up our workflows in Maya. I'm using Maya 2013, but if you're using an older version, pretty much everything should be the same. To reduce the number of elements in our UI here, I've done that in the previous tutorial exploring the Hotbox in Maya, but you can also look under the display menu under UI elements, and as well you can look at under Hotbox controls, unchecking the menu bars here, and over in the east zone of the Hotbox we also have access to UI elements here as well. Okay, so marking menus in Maya have a structure that consists of a radial set of menus here and another set of menu items underneath it. So the one that's most commonly accessed is this one here, which is just right mouse button clicking and holding over an object. And this is how you can change the component type of an object. So if we right mouse click and hold, we can drag up to edge, and you'll see that we're in edge mode now. And likewise, if we move down to face, we're in face mode. Now you don't have to wait for the marking menu to pop up before you make your selection. If you know which area you want to get to, you can just click and flick over to the left, for example, and you can see that now we're in vertex mode. So that's one way that you can be really quick when working in Maya, is just to click and flick, and we're back in object mode here. So a lot of the other marking menus are accessed by using a combination of right mouse click and Ctrl or Shift, or Command and Shift on a Mac. So for example, if we don't have any object selected and we just right mouse click over an empty area, we have the Select All, which selects everything, and Complete tool, which completes the currently active tool, which you can also typically do just by hitting Enter. So this one isn't as useful as some of the other marking menus that we'll look at. Another one is to Control and right mouse, Shift and right mouse click in an empty area, and this will bring up the polygon creation marking menu. This is where you can create cubes or cylinders, pretty much any polygon primitive. As well, you can turn on and off interactive creation and change some of the polygon display options. So that one can be really handy. Now, using the same keyboard shortcut, but if you have something selected, so if you select something and then you do Shift right mouse button, you get access to commonly used commands and tools, and this is very useful. So if we're in object mode and we Shift right mouse button, we can access Insert Edge Loop tool, for example, and that actually sends us into edge mode. So if we Shift right mouse click while we're in edge mode, we get a different set of commands and tools. So we can do extrude edge, bevel edge, merge and collapse, we can do delete edge. So if we go into face mode, once again, Shift right mouse button, we get a different set of commands and menus, including extrude face, which is very commonly used and handy to have. And finally, if we just go into vertex mode, Shift right mouse button, we can get our split vertex, merge vertices, merge vertex tool. So if we wanted to do some vertex merging, we can do that. So again, that's Shift right mouse button. And if we use our regular right mouse button, go back to the object mode, you see that we have really a large variety of tools, so that it's, when modeling, it becomes rare that you actually have to go into the Hotbox and search for the exact menu or command that you want. If we're in a component and we have a selection, if we're in component mode, sorry, and we have a selection like this, there's another marking menu that we can use, and that's Control right mouse button. And that allows us to convert one selection type to another. So if we have faces currently selected, we can change that to vertices, and you'll see that it's selected vertices that correspond to our original selection. So I'm just going to go back into face mode and make another selection here. If Control right mouse button, we can also do two edges, and this one has a couple of different options. Two edges will select all of the edges that are touching the original face selection. But if we go back and make the same selection, we can also do two contained edges, and that'll only select those edges which are contained within the original face selection. So that can be a handy way to move between different component types while keeping your selections. Another type of marking menu that we're going to look at is in the area of tool settings. So if we've got the Move tool currently active, you know that we can access some of the different settings up here in the toolbox, or in the tool settings panel rather. But if we don't want to go over here and open that up, we can also access them within a marking menu. And there are a couple different ways to access this marking menu. We can hold down the W key, which is the hotkey for the Move tool, and left mouse click. So we're holding both of those together, W and left mouse button. And you can see that we can access the axis mode, we can turn on reflection, selection types, preserving child transforms, snapping, all of that sort of thing. Likewise, if we hold down the E key and left mouse click, we can change the rotation type. Again, all of these different things. Center is virtual trackball, which is sometimes handy to use if you find you're trying to click one axis and you're not quite on it and you start moving around all over the place. You can turn off center is virtual trackball, and that means that you can't do kind of a free rotate within the center here. So that might be handy to turn on or off. And again, with the R for the scale, hold down R and left mouse button and you can access the different options available, or the tool settings available for that. Now there's another way that you can access these exact same tool settings. So if you're in the Select tool, Move, Rotate, or Scale, you can Ctrl Shift right mouse button and you will get the exact same marking menu. So if we're in the Rotate tool, Ctrl Shift right mouse button, and we get those tool settings. So that's quite a few different marking menus, so I'll just briefly summarize what we've gone through. Over an object, just regular right mouse button, you can get the component mode and object mode. Off of a deselected object, you can get complete tool and select all. Shift right mouse button with nothing selected will give you the polygon creation marking menu. Shift right mouse button with something selected, depending on the component type, will give you commonly used commands and tools. With a component selection active and Control right mouse button, you can change between selection types, component types. And with the various transform tools, you can access the tool settings with Control Shift right mouse button. So we'll look at a few more marking menus in the next part, but for now I'll stop it here, and thanks for watching.